had my hair up for approximately 5 minutes until I was like, I literally cannot deal with this. So I look like a monster, but that's not the point. Hi guys, and welcome back. So today I wanted to talk about how to reinvent and up-level your life in 2024. I had the worst 2023 I think ever, and over the summertime I had to completely reinvent my entire life. From where I was living, to who I was around, to the beliefs about myself, to the money I was making. Literally everything in my life did a complete 180. I'm going to teach you guys how to do that on your own accord, and not because life decides to give you a beating that you never knew that you actually needed. You must die to everything that you were in order to become who you want to be. I think the scariest thing people don't really understand about manifesting and achieving goals is that a lot of times the person that you are now is not actually the person that's going to achieve those goals and manifest those things. If you're ready to attend your own funeral and become a brand new person, continue watching this video. I'm going to be splitting this video into different chapters, so if you want to just skip to the part that you're interested in, you can totally do that as well. I think I'm going to do that for all of my videos just so that people can jump around. I don't know. I hate when I'm watching a video that's really long and there's no chapters. I'm like, okay, I'm clicking off of this. Step number 1 is finances. Having money can either make your life a lot easier or a lot harder, and I know people don't really understand that concept until you make a lot of money, but if you're also spending a lot of money, it literally does not mean anything. And also, I found myself in certain circumstances where I'm making more money, so then my expenses are more, and you have to still budget everything out and see, like, where can I put money towards my savings? Where can I put money towards paying off my credit cards? Where can I pay off the rest of my debt? Like, what else can I spend my money in and invest in? Money is really tricky, and I would say that the best thing you can do, especially if you're in your 20s, learn financial literacy. In all of 2023, I really did not value money at all. I would read books about money and how to make money, but I never understood how to actually keep money. And that's a lot of times, if you ever hear the analogies of people who win the lottery don't end up staying rich, and it's because you don't know how to manage money, you don't know financial literacy, you don't know how to have money and make more money. That is the biggest thing I would say if you are in the beginning of your financial journey, is to become financially literate. Stop spending your money on all this dumb stuff. I was actually watching this TikTok of this girl, and she was saying that a lot of people are like manifesting becoming a millionaire, but they're really manifesting just spending like a millionaire. So if you have on your vision board the Chanel bags and a nice car and a nice home, and you have like the $1 million, what's it called, like logo thing, I don't even know, that's basically showing that you just want to spend like a millionaire, not actually act like a millionaire, and not actually save and invest like a millionaire. And I was like, way to call me out on things. And let me give you the annoying mom talk. My parents would always be like, save your money for a rainy day, and I'd be like, okay, what is that rainy day? Like when I'm gonna die, or when I'm literally like stuck in another country, can't get back? Like what is the rainy day that we're all saving for? Trust me, I had my rainy day in 2023, and although I didn't save as much money as I definitely could have, I am so happy that in the first few months of the year I did save most of my income, because I was like, this was the first time I was really making money, and I was like, oh my god, like I need to save some of it because I wanted to move into my own apartment, and my parents did not want to help me because they did not want me to move out. Whatever, I can't. The difference between the rich and the poor is personal finance. If you are making $20,000 a month, but you're also spending $20,000 a month, again, you're profiting nothing. The first 3 steps I would say to starting your personal finance journey would be to understand money, get out of debt, and save your money. I know it can become really overwhelming when you're constantly hearing people say like, invest in this, do this, learn the stock markets, but honestly, just start with what you have now. Start with your debts now. Start with your credit now. Start with the money that you're making now. You don't have to start all of this financial stuff when you're making $20,000 a month, when you're making $30,000 a month, when you're even making $10,000 a month. Start now with what you have and the income that you have and the money that you already have in your bank account. I make an entire spreadsheet every single month of what my credit is. You can even just do it every single year. I just personally do it every month because I'm always paying stuff off and like changing stuff. My income's also different, so whatever works for you. But you want to do your income to spending ratio. You want to write down literally all of your expenses. I put all the amount of money I spend on Amazon. I am like, oh my god. But you want to put everything in there. All the Ubers, all the Starbucks, all the Amazon orders, all the little things that you're like, oh, they don't really add up. They add up. And I'm not saying you have to stop those things, but just you want to be aware of where your money's going. You want to write down all of your credit cards, their balances, and how much you're able to pay every month without stressing out too bad. I ended up using the snowball effect, which is described in one of the books that I'm about to share with you guys, and it's basically just paying down your cards like super fast. Not everybody has the ability to do that, but I definitely recommend, if you do, to at least just get rid of the high interest cards first and at least keep them at a zero balance. I could make it a whole video. I really do understand personal finance, but I'm just the type of person where I just have a problem. I go into a store and people just sell me on stuff so easily. I'm like the best customer ever. You just want to pay down your credit cards, you want to pay down your student debts and all your stuff. I would say that's a great place to start so that you have like a clean slate. Understand money, you need to learn about money. So here are the personal finance books and money books that I recommend to everybody. Starting with number 1 is Get a Financial Life, Personal Finance in Your 20s and 30s. I only read the credit section, hence why I just told you guys that. It tells you everything. It tells you about like Roth IRAs, I don't even know if I just said that right, mortgages, financial cramming. I don't even know what this stuff is, because honestly you don't learn this stuff in school, and this is literally going to make or break your entire life, because you don't have to be making $100,000 a month to become rich. Like, it is compounded over a period of time. So I highly recommend getting this book. It will literally save your life, like it saved mine, at least for the credit part. And I used to read the rest of my books on my Kindle. Now I started annotating my books, and I honestly just like to have them physically. Here are some of the other money books that I recommend. Happy Pocket Full of Money. This is going to explain to you the energy of money. I recommended this to my friend. It is so important to understand the energy of money to create more money. Illusion of Money. This book is so amazing because it really just talks about creativity and finding your purpose and finding your passion, and how that's really going to lead you to the money that you're looking for, not doing all these other things. Obviously you want a job. You want a job to make money and save money, but at the end of the day, you are going to find the most success in what it is that you are passionate about and what you believe that your purpose is and your reason for being on earth. Next book is I Will Teach You to Be Rich. This is also very similar to this book. I never finish these because I think numbers and math and stuff is so boring. You can either pick one or the other or both. It really can't hurt you. It can only help you, but it kind of is like all the nitty-gritty stuff of personal finance. Next is Rich Dad Poor Dad. I've never read this book, if I'm being honest. I got really into like the spiritual aspect of money. This other book called Creating Money, which I'll put right here, it's also about the energy of money, and that definitely helped me attract money, but it did not help me keep money. Rich Dad Poor Dad, I'm sure you guys have heard of it before. I definitely want to read that in the new year, hence why I'm sharing it with you guys. Step number 2 would be to cut off toxic people. I can make an entire video about this because for some reason I have a very good skill at cutting off toxic people, but it just takes me a long time to actually get the balls to do it. I tend to let relationships in my life kind of run past their expiration date because I don't know, sometimes I just don't trust myself enough to really let go of someone. I'm like, what if I regret it? What if it's not actually that bad? I almost gaslight myself into thinking that their behavior is okay. All I can say is that toxic people literally make you ugly. They ruin your life. They distract you from your goals. They're like weeds. They're like weeds. Nothing can grow when there's weeds in the grass, so you have to pull them all out. That's the best analogy I can come up with when it comes to toxic people. I think a really hard lesson I had to learn in 2023 is that you need to leave people where they're at. You cannot fix people, you cannot change people, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I talked about this in my last video, and it is really difficult, especially if you're someone like me who genuinely just wants to bring light and joy into people's lives, but some people just aren't ready for the lessons and for the presence that you bring into their lives, so you just need to leave them where they're at and stop killing yourself to uplift everybody else. This is one of my favorite quotes that one of my best friends actually gave me, especially when I was kind of transitioning from being like a Miami party girl to really just like getting my health in order and reading more and getting my money in order and focusing on what it is that I want to do. I ended up losing a lot of people, and it was really hard on me. But you know what? I think this whole concept that I'm about to share with you really did help me be able to let go of those people. And you know what? Anyone that I've ever cut off, I do not miss at all, and I will stand on that. This quote is about meeting people for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. When you meet people for a reason, it's because of a need that you've expressed. It seems that they're God sent, which they literally are, and then there eventually comes a point in time where you guys break off the relationship, and that is that. I would like to say that these are karmic relationships a lot. It could also be put into a season, a karmic relationship. I think everybody comes into your life for a reason, and I think if you really observe people and you use relationships as a way to look inward and see what it is that you need to learn about yourself, everyone becomes a learning tool to you, and things don't hurt as bad when people leave your life. Next, it's when you meet people for a season. This is your turn to share and grow with this person. They're meant to bring you either really good memories, or I'm sure they could bring you really bad memories, but overall they're only here for a season or a period of time in your life. Lastly is your lifetime relationships. These are going to be the building blocks of your entire life and trajectory of your life. Not everybody is a lifetime relationship, and I think it's really hard for us to accept that, and we think that there's something so wrong in people leaving our lives at different periods of time, but at the end of the day, not everybody's meant to stay forever, and I think it'll really help you if you learn how to differentiate between people who come in for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. Step number 3 is to get your mental health in check. Your mental health is literally the most important thing. I do not care what anybody says. You can be super, super rich. You can be super, super attractive. You can work on every single external thing in your entire life. And if you are not mentally well, life is going to be in the perspective of somebody who's not mentally well. A lot of times that's when you see people who literally have it all. They have the car, they have the family, they have the money, they have the looks, they have the success, and they're so miserable, and it has something to do with internally and their mental health. And I have struggled with my mental health probably since I was born, honestly, and it has been one of my biggest goals, especially this year, in the past 2 to 3 months, to really figure out what the issue is and why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling. And I'm never going to sit here and tell you not to go to a doctor. I go to doctors. I literally have a psychiatrist appointment next week because I do think it's good to get multiple opinions from different places. But I can sit here and say I was medicated for depression and anxiety for the past 7 years, and this is the first time in my life I'm not medicated, and I feel so much more clear-headed and passionate about getting to the bottom of my issues without having to take a pill every single day and think that that's going to fix anything, because it's not going to. Just like I said before, I'm never going to tell you not to go to a doctor, but I will say that even if you are medicated, still be doing the inner work to figure out why it is that your mental health is lacking so badly. When I was really depressed, it ended up being because I had no purpose and I was lacking in the things that I actually wanted to do, and I was being somebody that I wasn't. And when I was really anxious, it was because I was so worried about the future. I was so worried about everything that was going to happen, and that's ultimately because I didn't trust that the past events that happened to me were leading me to where I am now. Do your deep dive into your mental health, please. It's so much more important than your physical health. Not that your physical health should be neglected at all, but if there's anything in this world that you could work on for yourself, it is your mental health. And I really don't think that you'll be able to become the person that you are if your mental health is struggling. Some things that you can do is, obviously, you can go to therapy, and I never thought I would be recommending this because honestly therapy has never worked for me. I have been to so many therapists and they all were just like, you're fine, everything's fine, because I'm high functioning, so they figured that if I wasn't in a hospital or dead, that, you know, it probably wasn't that bad. But I ended up finding this therapist, and she is literally my angel sent from heaven. And we've just really been deep diving into like the different parts of me and my personality and certain past events that have caused me to act in certain ways that I do now, you know, all the therapy stuff. But I really do think it is good to get to the bottom of things, and if you need somebody to help guide you, then yes, finding a therapist is going to be useful for you. It took me, what, 7-8 years to find somebody that I liked, and I was on and off with therapists for so long, and it's kind of like dating. So that's my recommendation when it comes to therapy. Some other things that have really helped me with my mental health are meditation and listening to frequencies, having a morning routine, and resting when my body needs rest. Oh, and also finding new hobbies and finding my purpose and my passion. That was the most important thing, and doing things that scare me, because a lot of times the things that scare you the most are probably the things that you should be doing anyways. When it comes to meditation and frequencies, these really did change my life. I think if you're gonna start anywhere, definitely start here. Even if you meditate, I'll meditate for like 30 seconds because I just get antsy and I'm ready to start my day, which is so bad. And I know Joe Dispenza's like, the people that say they don't have time to meditate need to meditate the most, and that is so true. I also really like listening to frequencies. I'll listen to frequencies when I'm cleaning my house. I listen to beauty frequencies when I'm getting ready. I listen to anxiety frequencies when I'm on the plane because I get really bad plane anxiety. So frequencies just really put you in like a calm state that I feel like you can figure out life more. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Nicki Minaj, but sometimes I don't need Va Ba Boom blasting in my ear while I'm trying to like get my life in order, you know? Also, going outside and doing this thing called morning pages has definitely saved my mental health. Basically, morning pages, if you haven't read The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, it's this creativity book that helps you unleash your inner artist. It talks about this thing called morning pages where you wake up and you write 3 pages, just a free stream of consciousness of what it is in your brain, and it has helped me with my anxiety so much because in the morning sometimes I'm so jumpy and I'm like, I need to do everything at once, but it kind of just sits me down and gets all these like excess thoughts from the past day and from my sleep, because sometimes I'll be talking to myself in my sleep. I'm not even kidding. I'm like, okay, this is weird. I really like morning pages. I like sitting outside, and having a morning routine has really helped my anxiety so much and set me up for success for the rest of the day. When you start being productive every single day and not feeling so anxious throughout the day, and you have like a set routine, you almost feel like you have more time, your anxiety eases, you feel like you have more time to pursue things you're actually interested in. Like, it just, life feels a lot lighter. I used to never have a morning routine. I used to wake up literally half asleep, chug a coffee, pop an Addy, and go to school and be like cracked out with my with my Juul. That's not a morning routine. Step number 4 is to break down all of your goals. I'm sure you made the vision board with the nice house, the $1 million business, the book deal, the successful YouTube channel, happy relationship, all of these things, right? I think I used to get so discouraged when I would make a vision board and then I would see and be like, oh, I did not achieve literally anything. And I was so focused on the actual goal instead of the systems that were in place to get the goal. One of my goals that I put on my vision board was to have a New York Times bestseller. And instead of just striving for that off the bat and being like, okay, why don't I have that yet? It's best to work backwards and break it up into separate steps. So for example, you have to write a query letter, reach out to a literary agent, you have to write the actual book, the book has to get edited, you have to talk to publishers, and eventually when your book is published, if it is published, you have to do a whole marketing scheme so that your book can actually sell. You have to do the interviews, you have to do the articles. There's so much that goes into actually receiving the New York Times best-selling author, best-selling book tag thing. I don't even know what it's called. Jesus, I should probably look that up. Now, instead of just putting, oh, I want a New York Times bestseller, I put little goals so that I can achieve that. Like, write 1 chapter of my book, look up how to write a query letter to an agent, look up agents and their emails, and see what other titles that they were working with and see if that would work with my book. There's so many little parts that you need to do now to even get there, and I would always just focus on the outcome and the results of everything instead of wanting to go through the actual journey and the process. Even with having a YouTube channel, it's like, yes, there are some people who I'm sure they blew up overnight to 1 million, but a lot of times, like in the book Atomic Habits, if you haven't read it yet, it is compounded interest of little things every single day that get you to eventually reach the threshold and break into your goal, and then it looks like overnight success. If you're trying to build new habits and break things into goals and learn about systems, I highly recommend reading Atomic Habits. I actually have not finished that book. I'm in the middle of it right now, and it is so good, and it is definitely a strategy that I've been trying to implement more, because then these giant goals that you have, like having a New York Times bestseller or having $1 million business, they don't look as intimidating and as scary and as unachievable, and you actually see that these things are very attainable, they're very achievable, and you can actually do them when you break it down into every single step that you're going to have to go through. You can't skip to chapter 20 without reading what's going on in chapter 1, and that is the best advice that I can give you when it comes to going and achieving goals and breaking down your goals into systems. And that's really what's going to differentiate you from just wishful thinking to actually getting the results that you're looking for. Step number 5 is stop comparing yourself to other people. Now, I know it sounds very cliche and kind of taboo and just like, okay, yeah, we hear that all the time. But I think with social media, we see so much of everybody else's life and we see the highlights of everybody else's life, and we don't really know what's going on with anybody. Comparing yourself to others is taking away the beauty from your own life and your own self. Everyone is always trying to be like everyone else because it's literally our natural instinct to want to be in community and to be accepted. And we think that if we're not accepted into our community, we're going to die. You can look this up, it's biological research. Ew, I sound like the podcast bros. When you compare yourself to other people, you inevitably believe that there is something wrong with you, of why you're not like them and why you're not getting the things that they have, instead of trusting yourself, trusting in who you are, and trusting in the path of your own life. After living in Miami for so long, I really saw it all. Me and my friends used to always joke and be like, if he drives a Lambo, that doesn't mean he's actually rich. And it is the truest thing in the entire world. People are always going to show you what they want you to see. I can literally go into Cartier, I can go into Rolex, I can go into AP, like I could go into all these stores, take photos of the stuff, pretend like I bought it, and walk out empty-handed, and then everyone will think that I went and bought that myself. I have seen all of the scamming that goes on behind these people that you all look at and are probably like, oh my god, why don't I live that life? They're all trying to say that they do drop shipping and marketing and all of this stuff, and I promise you, most of those people are not actually successful. It's literally all a scam. I can sell you right now an Amazon FBA course and make so much money off of it, and I have never done Amazon FBA a day in my life. I've never made $1 off of it. So stop believing everything you see online and comparing yourself to false narratives when you really do not know. Even when you see all these like families and stuff, I always see families, I'm like, oh my god, they're so cute, like that's what I want. And I'm like, oh, they probably don't fight. And then I'm like, wait, they're literally human. Of course they fight. We're all human. We go through human things. And I think when you look at people on social media and TV, and we almost dehumanize them and we think that they don't go through the same problems that we do. And that's why when celebrities come out and they have all these mental health issues and everyone's like, oh my god, what do you mean? Like, they can't grasp it because we don't think of them as human anymore, and it's very strange. I think that's why I've never been starstruck by anyone, because I'm like, they're just another person. Like, what's so exciting about them? If you're gonna use social media, use it as a tool, use it as inspiration, use it as guidance, and use it for research. We literally have so much access to so much information. I remember even when I was in elementary school and for research papers, I'd have to go to the library and go pick out books and cite all the books. And that's just like the old-fashioned way of doing things. But now you can research anything in 2 seconds and find out everything about everybody. Using social media as a beneficial tool instead of just stalking people all the time. I truly don't follow people anymore. It's not even to be rude, but it's like, I don't need to look at your life. I really don't. I have enough things to do with my life. I'm not where I want to be in my own life, so I don't need to be looking at your life. Human nature to look at something that you want and be like, ugh, like, why don't I have that? That are sensitive and still trying to build the confidence within themselves to reach these goals. Yeah, of course, when you're seeing people live their best life in Dubai and in Bali, you're gonna be like, what the hell am I doing wrong? Like, why are these people making so much money doing absolutely nothing? And you just never know what goes on behind the scenes. You never know who actually has what. You never know who's happy and who's not. So stop looking at everybody else and start focusing on you. And once I started even just looking at my own content and focusing more on how do I make the content that I already make better instead of looking at other people and what content they're doing and trying to match that, literally the game is changing. Timing of your life is so important. Like I've said before, I'm one of the most impatient people on the planet. I want everything now, and I think if I don't get it now, that I'm doing something wrong. And I find that we get stuck in this like trance of unworthiness, of thinking that like our dreams are not coming to fruition because they're not happening immediately, when you just need to trust in the timing of everything. If I even look back and I'm like, things always ended up happening at the best time possible for me. If I had it earlier, I probably would not be where I am today, and if this happened, I probably would not be where I am today. So you really just need to trust that sometimes everything is just out of your control and you need to surrender. And when you're looking at everybody else and this person's launching a business, this person's having a baby, this person's getting married, and you're comparing yourself to how everybody else's life is going, of course you're going to be looking at your own life like things are wrong when things could literally be so beautiful. And that's when I say, when you're comparing yourself to other people and other people's timelines, you end up missing all the magic and beauty in where you are right now and where you've been before and where you're going. My biggest tip for people who are young is enjoy your youth and enjoy starting at the beginning, because I even look back to some of my memories in high school and I'm like, God, I wish I could start over. I wish I just embraced where I was in that moment instead of trying to be 20 years ahead at all times. I promise you, it's such like a tiring, exhausting, draining feeling to constantly be wanting to be somewhere that you're not. Wherever you are in your life, you are exactly where you need to be. You are in a beautiful place and you have everything in your control to bring your life into a new direction and go where you need to go, and trust yourself that you will end up making it there no matter how long it takes. Sometimes the most beautiful things are built under the most pressure and they take the longest to actually bloom, but just trust yourself and stop comparing yourself to everybody else, because half the shit you see online is literally fake. All right, everyone, I hope you liked this video. I swear, I've been staring at my hair like most of this time because I cannot believe that it looks this disgusting, but it's fine. I hope you got some valuable information and I'm really excited for 2024. I have a good feeling. I said that about 2023 though, so I'm trying not to say it as much for 2024 because 2023 literally like rocked my entire world. Thank you guys so much for supporting me in my last few videos. I read all of the comments and you guys are literally so sweet. So thank you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.